Rise and shine, people. Rise and shine. This AM, I'm a little, I'm not as bright this AM. Not feeling as bright. As y'all know, or maybe y'all don't know, I'm finna tell you. I really didn't want to do this live shit because these lives they delete my lives, and I did so much. I showed y'all so much spell work. I done showed y'all. I've just done so much like on here for the collective spiritually, and it all got deleted because after 30 days, it deletes your lives. But I came on here because December 6th, I was possessed. I know that might sound crazy, but for a whole week I was possessed. And it only got worse. Now, within this possession, I was initiated. I was initiated into a coven. All of this is going to sound crazy unless you are awakened somehow, but I'm going to speak it anyway. I am an enigma spirit. If you don't know what that is, go study it. I know a lot about myself that I probably shouldn't, or that they don't want me to know, which is why they came for me. Anyway, I was on here sharing a lot of knowledge, and they kept trying to shut me up. And the only way they knew how to shut me up was to lace me and possess me. Me being out of my mind at the time, because of me being laced and possessed, I called the police, knowing that they the enemy. And instead of them helping me, they sent me to Samaritan Behavioral Center. I've never been diagnosed with any mental illnesses or anything of the sort. Not sure what this is. They keep popping up on my screen, but it's irritating me. I've never been diagnosed with any mental illnesses or anything of the sort, right? But yet and still, um, they tried to make me crazy. So now I've been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar at the age of 36. So when I called the police, because I wasn't feeling well, I called the EMS actually because I felt like I had been laced. I felt like I had been possessed. I felt like I was going through something because I was attacked spiritually. And I didn't know how to get out of it. My ancestors were working with me. Obviously, that's why I'm sitting here right now and I'm able to speak to y'all and articulate this well. Because most people that get laced or possessed, they are effed up. You get what I'm saying? Lacing, possession, it's all one and the same. It's how far you allow your mind to take you. That's when these words mean things. They mean bigger than what they say. Anyway, uh, so I called the EMS, and instead of them helping me, they took me. They brought the police. They got police involved. I have the footage. I was not resisting arrest or nothing of the sort. I was already in handcuffs. Police didn't handle me well. They allowed men to touch me. This is the main thing that I brought up to them. I didn't have clothes on. There were male officers that arrested me. There were male officers that held me outside in the cold with no shoes on, no shirt on, no clothes whatsoever. I had a blanket wrapped around my waist, and they threw a blanket over my shoulders. Okay? They set me in the car for hours before they actually found somewhere to take me. When they did decide to take me somewhere, they took me to Detroit Receiving. When I arrived at Detroit Receiving, I was belligerent. I was remembering things that may not or may have happened. I'm still waiting on the footage from these events. But I was trying to express this to the nurses. You know, nobody would listen. Mind you, I was not active belligerent with the nurses or anything. What they offered me was a shot. I told them I did not consent to this shot, and they gave me a shot anyway. Mind you, I'm not belligerent. I'm not doing any of these things. I'm calm. I'm expressing myself. I'm crying, but not belligerently. I'm crying because of what I just experienced that I felt like I should have not experienced. Anyway, I went from there to Samaritan Behavioral Center. Again, me being out of my mind, I shouldn't have signed those papers when I got there because maybe things would have went differently. But it's okay because I was being initiated for something greater. So I get there and they held me at that center from December the 7th until January the 2nd as an outpatient. There were many people there that were being misused. There were people there that should not have been there. There are elderly people there that were given shots, elderly people that have dementia. Now, I studied these shots, the same shot they gave me before I left. These shots they give to these elderlies, they give them multiple dosages of this shot, and these elderly people have dementia. They're not even supposed to give them those shots with dementia. It's called a Risperidone. I believe that's the shot. Anyway, it had some of the elderly reacting differently. Like really, it makes them like zombies. They can't control their bladders. They don't have appetites, or they're overeating, one or the other. They're sleeping too much, or they're acting out in other ways. These elderly people should be in programs for the elderly, not in the crazy home. But this is where they end up. They get a lot of the elderly in there were telling me they were there against their will. They were picked up off the streets and brought there against their will, not by the police. And even if it was by the police, they was brought there against their will. But anyway, I have a booklet with a lot of names of the individuals that were in this program. Elderly. There's one named Wanda Reeds. We call her Mama Wanda. She told me that was not her real name, but she did have dementia, or the medication that they were giving her was making her have dementia. Because when she got there, she was speaking normally, she was acting normally. When they started giving her those shots, because she wouldn't follow certain rules, is when she started to gain dementia on a heavy level and started to soil herself and things of that nature. And this is not the only elderly woman that I've seen this happen to. Okay? Anyway, while I was in this program, my CPS came out for my babies. My children are not being neglected. My children are not being harmed. So why is CPS involved in my life? Besides that, I live with someone, basement space, burning basement space. I've told y'all this before. She's on Section 8. She has an inspection. That's what I'm being told. She has an inspection due on the 12th of February. So I have to be out of here by the 5th of February. Now, I found a place. A guy on here was going to rent me a room, one bedroom, because all I'm looking for is a bedroom or an attic or basement space that I can rent with my two children. They're teenagers, a 14-year-old and a son is about to be 13 in a couple weeks. So I found a guy. He was gonna rent me a room for $300 a month. That's a good deal to me because the place where I'm at right now is paying way more than that. We ain't even gonna get on that, you know. I'm being told that he has to be approved through CPS because he has a 14-year-old felony charges that he's did his time for. 14-year-old charges. But now they're trying to say also that he has a CPS case or he's had past tense a CPS case. But he's telling me he didn't and I believe him. Either way, I think I'm being told that I can't go there because of these things. But this is my only option, right? The reason I'm on here saying this or talking about this is the fact that these governmental programs are supposed to be built to help us. I reached out to the police for help. I went to that program because they were supposed to be helping, but instead they gave me meds that do not equate with my body. They're not for me. Those meds don't do nothing for me to make me tired. I've always been an intelligent woman. You know what those meds do? Make me feel stupid and tired. That's it. They don't regulate my mood like they say they do. They're not a mood stabilizers. They're not none of that. And I proved it to them because the reason I was held there so long is because I went a little over almost 2 weeks without taking meds while I was in the program. The only reason I started was because I could not leave because they had written down that they could hold me for 108 days if I didn't take those meds. So they basically forced them on me. I still have a lump on my arm from the shot they gave me before I left. And this is what they do to everybody. Mind you, I'm supposed to be an outpatient, not an inpatient. So why was I being forced to take meds that I didn't want? That's still in my system. Ain't no telling what it had done to me. It makes me very emotional because I felt like I had no rights. From the moment I called the EMS, I didn't even call them. I had my child do it because I wasn't able to control my own body. I had my child call them for help. And I ended up going through all of this. So now, back to the housing situation. I'm in a situation where I may not have a place to go because now I have to wait on CPS to approve something somewhere for me to go when they shouldn't even be involved in my life. There are children out here that really need this type of help. They really need saving. Like the babies that's living out on the streets with their parents right now in this frigid ass air. Or in shelters. These are the children that need CPS help. The mothers and the fathers that need CPS help because they're supposed to help you protect the child, right? So basically what they telling me is, oh, you can't go to him because I can't move in with you because he had an old ass case, but I can go to a shelter with a million strangers. All type of negative energy, positive energy maybe, but all type of energies. Y'all worried about one person's case versus how many other cases we would be dealing with if I was to go to a shelter. I will never go to a shelter. I've never been to one and I never will. My whole life I have done everything without child support, without Section 8, without welfare. My whole life. And I've been a mother for 20 years. I don't like counting my age, but I'm 36. 20 years since I was a 15-year-old little girl. I have been doing this alone. And now they ask me to rely on them, and this is the type of help that I get. It's doing more harm than good. This is why I've never asked them for help. How sad is that? I'm stressed right now, not because of me not being able to handle my own issues, because I can pay for my own mover. I can pay my own way with this man moving in his place and all of that. I'm stressing because these people are in my business and they are holding me back from things that I can achieve without them. These are government-based programs that are supposed to be mental health. If they want to put me on meds for schizophrenia and bipolarness, when those aren't my issues. My issues are stress, or were, excuse me, stress and depression. Why? Because I could never get no fucking help when I needed it. And when I did, quote unquote, get their help, this is what came with it. I reached out to a hotline 2.5 years ago because I had a miscarriage, my second miscarriage in a 7 month time span. I reached out to them because I needed help. You think they helped me? That same program I'm supposed to still be in, I can't even call them to speak to a therapist or a psychiatrist for my depression that I had, because I had postpartum depression. That's what I called them for. But instead, they deemed me, this other program deemed me schizophrenic and bipolar. How do you get that from that? Because I'm spiritual? Because I know too much? But yet, still in that program, they have meds called hypnotics that they give people. But my spirituality is supposed to be loony. What's a hypnotic? Isn't that spiritual? They have practitioners there. Isn't that spiritual? I want y'all to think on that and stop allowing these people to do whatever the fuck they want to do to you and your family. This government was not built to help us. It was built to control us. And I won't allow it. I will not allow it. I will jump through hoops on my own, because all of this shit I went through alone. Just like Martin Luther King, just like motherfucking Malcolm X. Everybody that has stepped up for y'all went through these things alone for the most part. They had fans, but they went through it alone and they died alone. And I'll do that too before I allow them to control me.